Hello, my name is Ed Varga. I'm a composer and sound designer. I'm based in San Francisco, California, and I'd like to do a demonstration of a score that I composed for a Tetris game, and I used Wwise for the audio implementation with the Unity game engine. I'll do a gameplay and then talk about some of the design after that. The music for this game had a few inspirations. One of them was the game Peggle 2. I love Guy Whitmore's score for that game. It's both the score and the interactivity of the music. It has a big orchestral score that you might not expect in a casual puzzle game. Plus, there are melodies that are generated as objects bounce around and through the field of obstacles during the game. So I wanted to create something that was orchestral, also kind of light and quirky and entertaining, taking some inspiration from Guy's scores, also the remixes of his scores that feature more synths and drum machines, and also taking some inspiration from Danny Elfman's kind of early Beetlejuice and Edward Scissorhands scores. Also taking inspiration from composers of the 20th century, such as John Cage, who used techniques like indeterminate or chance music, like that idea of kind of rolling the dice and just seeing what kind of random sounds you might be able to create out of that. So I chose mostly an orchestral and choir sound palette. As you heard, there's a few synths and drum machines. Start out with the main menu music that has sort of that oompa oompa vamp going on, and some magic and fantasy kind of sounds, kind of very much reminds me of Edward Scissorhands at times. And then we go into the gameplay music. So I'll go through a couple things in Wwise. My Wwise screen is over here, so I'll be kind of looking back and forth. So with the gameplay music, going back again to Peggle and wanting to have, and the chance music, wanting to have these random melodies that are being created as you play the game, have it be interactive in that way. And so each moving the shapes and flipping the shapes and landing them, all of these have little tiny melodies that, when they're pieced together, then create a longer melody line. So and I kind of imagine, John Cage inside of Wwise rolling the dice and just picking these random little melodies to string together. So each gameplay music has each game stage. Each stage of the game has its own music, and we go from a piece that's in D major. We start with that for stage one, and it's a 6/8 time signature, 135 beats per minute. And so all of the stingers I'll show you in Wwise. Stingers, we start with the gameplay stage one playlist. We go to stingers, and we'll see all the triggers for moving the shapes around, landing them, clearing the rows. Those are all in D major, and each of the flip shape and the move left, move right, those all have six variations that are then randomly sequenced. So we go to, for example, the flip shape D major segment here. This is set up as several subtracks on this segment, and it is set to random step. So these will randomly play. So if I just play them right now, they'll randomly play, and that's the way that all of them are set up. Also the land shape is just one tone. It's one tubular bell pitch, but there's several pitches for each one. I think there's more like 8 for each one of those, and also once you clear a row, those also play a chord, a synth chord. So that's in the key of the stage music. So I've got a D major, one of those, a D minor, and an E major. Again, going back to the music for the different stages, we've got D major for stage one. We've got kind of light, upbeat. Stage two, we take a little bit of a darker turn. It's maybe a time for reflection, a time to refocus, a time to remind the player, like, all right, let's get serious here. You got through one stage. Sure, that was easy, but if you lose your focus, the pieces could pile up and you'll lose. So it's a little bit more of a serious tone. It's a little bit slower, 125 beats per minute. It's still in 6/8 time. It's in D minor. There's more percussion. There's some choir. It's meant to be a little bit of a darker piece. And then we move into the third stage, and that's in E major. So we step up. We go back to a major key, step up. It's a lot brighter, and it's a rearrangement of the music that I used for stage one, and introduces more choirs. Some choir shouts. It's got a lot more percussion in it. It's got a lot of toy percussion, so it's just a lot more quirky stuff going on in it. The transitions between I decided to do the transition pieces that are in between each stage. I originally composed 3 different ones, or 3 completely different sounding ones, and then I decided to make it more of a signal to the player, make them more consistent. So each transition is similar, has similar elements. It just is in a different key. So the transition from stage 1 to stage 2 sounds like this. And then 2 to 3. The last thing I'll go through in Wwise is the win and lose game states and win and lose stingers. So these are on, if we go to the event, the round win event, and we'll see that what happens behind the scenes is that we set the state to win state, and then that is what tells our round win segment to play. We also are going to we're going to go back to the menu music after either win or lose. We're going to go back to the main menu, and that next step, it sets the state to menu, but there's a 7-second delay, and the reason for that is that my win music is 7 seconds. So we set the state to win, play the music. 7 seconds later, the music is over, and we go back and hear the menu music, which you heard it during the gameplay videos, and that's the same for the round lose. The only difference on this one is that my lose music is a little bit longer, so there's a 10-second delay on that one. All right, that's a bit of an overview of how I used Wwise to implement the audio into the Unity game engine, and some of my thoughts behind composing the music for this game. Thank you so much for listening to my music and for watching this video. If you want to hear more of my music, I have a website. It's tonegeneratorstudios.com, and feel free to get in contact with me. I'm also at tonegeneratorstudios@gmail.com. Thank you so much.